Hey guys, what's going on? Wanted to come on for a little bit and get to part two, the mystery of Jay Slater. And it's probably gonna go members only uh, for a few days and then go the other way. But I wanted to basically come on and touch base on a few things. Jay Slater was, hardworking young man, a bricklayer, and from the UK that went with some friends on holiday to the island of Tenerife in the summer of 2024. Well, June. So yeah, it started the summer, you could say, of 2024. He was actually taking, I think, a college course. He was still on like a probation type thing from an incident that had happened prior, a couple of years prior. We've been digging on this case a long time, guys, and we're not here to try to write a Netflix documentary or anything of that nature. We're only here to find answers, right, and the truth. Some people have hidden the truth, and not given it to the parents when they were boots on the ground. And, people are going to do whatever they're going to do out here. We should all be focused on the same thing, finding the truth, right? And that's what it's all about, finding the truth. And we were able to utilize some technology and some things that we were able to grab some information and grab some things that helped us along the way to determine our outcome, right? And this is just our outcome of what we feel went down on that island. He was reported missing on June 17th, found on July 15th, 2024. And I don't know how they were able to pull this stuff off. I don't know how they were able to do these things, but we have to look at the eyes, the man behind the eyes that I dropped in part one, right? This man has not been the greatest character, right? And a lot of people feel that Jay and Brad were both taken and that Brad was spared. That is a possibility. We never ruled anything out, right? We never did. We just know that something transpired and that the only way we can come to the conclusion that his friends left him there is because he wasn't there, right? Or if he was, it was too late. They had, the mother came out and said that somebody had her boy, and all these things have truth to them, right? The GoFundMe, all these other things that we've been able to try to pull side doors to get things looked at. Once you get one thing, it's like you're chasing that rabbit hole and you find that one thing that can open the door to people looking into other avenues, right? And that's what we tried to do, and that's what, pray to God we did do. I don't know for a fact yet, but I won't know probably for a while, a couple of months probably. If anything came out of what we sent in. I don't know that. I know that there's been some cell phone activity and some other things of this nature, which it's okay because that means that something's being looked at, right? That's how we have to look at that, because 99.999% of the time when those things happen, especially after deceased, then we know something's being viewed. And evidently to them it didn't add up, just like it didn't add up to us. And so I wanted to take a little bit of a minute before we really get into the breakdown of everything, because there's no way to break down these things at night because the board's over here and y'all won't be able to physically see it at nighttime. Most of the members only have seen the job board, not completed, but they have seen the job board throughout the process. So they really know a lot more than everyone else. And we did that for a reason. We didn't want a bunch of hoopla going on, a bunch of drama going on, a bunch of this, that, and the other, and name calling and things. We didn't want all that, right? That Jay's better than that. We're better than that. This was about trying to show that what they're saying happened didn't happen, right? That it was a little bit more involved in what they made out. Uh, Starts with the GoFundMe, and I think everybody knows that you had some really intelligent people that broke this down in the beginning. That GoFundMe. Why do most profilers or people that view language break down these types of things? Because it holds the answers. And I know y'all trust Peter Hyatt, right? We all trust Peter Hyatt. We all trust a lot of these profilers. And they got years and years and years of experience, right? And Peter Hyatt has broke down anywhere from the McCann case to Madeline, to Nicola Bully, to Jay Slater, to so many more, Sebastian Rogers, to a lot of these high-profile cases. And I take what he says to heart. I do. I think that everything is within the language. I've always said that, right? And I feel that it always leads us back to the root, the cause, the cover-up, the hiding, whatever it may be. And in this particular case, like he started out with, his conclusion was Lucy knows more than she's letting out, which we all knew that. Because for one, she had her back to the camera. So we all knew something was wrong. There was a red flag from the start. Reporting someone missing in 10 minutes, because now on her Facebook, it does show that Jay rang her at 8:50 a.m., which is not possible. Because at 8:49.54, his phone was dead. So no way at 8:50 did he call her. That didn't happen. Now, she could have been off on her timeline, and it's possible. But if we were to believe what she says on Facebook, that morning when she was looking for a ride and all these other things, which she was seen riding around in the car 2 days prior and the day before, so I don't know why she didn't have a car all of a sudden. But anyway, long story short, maybe she turned it in before the end of the trip. I don't know. But usually you turn them in at the airport when you fly home, so I don't really know how it works over there. I know that there's so much more to this overall picture that it's just very hard to understand. And all we want is the truth, right? That's all we want is the truth. And so, being part two, I really wanted to come in and go over the GoFundMe, go over the things that were said in the beginning. If we were to trust in any of her story at all, even if we were to trust in her GoFundMe, we would be wrong. We would be lying to ourselves, right? And it's none of it made sense. He wasn't in a white shirt, right? Like, at least from what we saw, right? In the club and all these other places, he was not in that. Actually, when he was leaving the club, he had put his shirt back on. So he did have the shirt on. Whatever transpired after that, which I think was, where they were supposed to meet and drop off everything. And I think that area up there was a drop point for everybody to go take their funds, take what they didn't get rid of, drop it off there to him and his buddies. And then everybody left peacefully and quietly. They made their cut. They made a little money. They had fun. Time to go home, right? Well, one of those didn't come back. And so with Jay not returning as everyone else seemed to have returned, right? What transpired, I think, is more to the story than just a bag or some goods that may be ripped off, or there was more to this whole picture. This was more of either he saw something, learned something, witnessed something, something happened. We know most likely it wasn't no watch stolen or none of that, right? Something transpired, I believe, before they even got there. And to make it look, hey, he had fun the whole time and then vanished on the last day, right? That's a novel in itself, right? A mystery novel, right? That's, think about that. And I don't think they thought it was going to blow up the way it did. I think they thought it would not be a big deal, like most of the cases over there were not a big deal. But his case, for some reason, captured America's hearts. And that's why we Didn't even have a channel at the time. We're still working the case behind closed doors, trying to dig and see what we could find, right? Ooh, that wind is bad. Man, oh man, I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. I wouldn't have lit that fire. But something transpired, and Lucy told a whole lot of lies, and I think that's been proven. I think they all told a whole lot of lies. I think Brad didn't talk for 2 weeks for a reason. Maybe he did have some black eyes. Maybe there was a few of those things, right? I mean, we're going to get into that as we go, but, you know, like, you could tell clearly he was pressured to do that interview. You could see it on his face, right? I think that was somebody telling him, hey, you better get out here and defend all of us, right? They're ripping us apart over here. Because we have to find the truth in the beginning of the story. The truth is, if Lucy is to be correct, if we were to believe anything she said at all, she said, these were two strange men. They need to be investigated. The cops need to be checking this. Call the British Embassy. Right? She was alerting everyone in the beginning. Why? For a reason. Maybe it's two different mixes, right? Maybe Lucy and her people do one thing and these people did another, and somehow they all got together and something went south. And it was more of a rivalry thing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they took him to get back at them. Maybe this wasn't about Jay at all. Maybe this was about payback to Lucy or somebody stepping on their turf, right? That's what we have to look at. And I'm bringing this up for a reason. Y'all will learn as we go. But, you know, I've already filmed the 3-hour one. I just haven't dropped it yet because I haven't got the okay to. But it's going to explain a lot more. But I did want to kind of come on and, you know, I don't want this thing to fade. Nobody wants this case to fade. We all want this case solved. So I believe talking about it, bringing awareness, spreading awareness, keeping it in the spotlight, it doesn't let it die down, right? That's what we got to do, is keep it going until I can release this part, which I think not necessarily is it going to shock a lot of you. I think most of y'all know that something was terribly wrong here, that this wasn't what they made it out to be. So I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh my God. Now, there's a few people in here that were never brought up before that we feel were attached to this. Goes all the way back to his hometown, which, you know, is something that we wanted to discuss, right? And something that we felt needed to be talked about. And so when we get into to really, who is Chris, right? Who is some of these other people and how are they involved, right? Chris was pretty much came off as the searcher, right? He's the ground guy. Well, everybody has to play a role, right? And it's just like search and rescue. Everybody plays their part. And that's how people are found, right? Well, we know in this instance that there was so much manpower thrown at this, so many drones, so many dogs, so many things. The temperature was not great. It was hot during the day. It was dense and dewy at night. It was perfect for a scent of someone to be carried miles. And as much as that area was combed, and they called it off after 2 weeks, he's not here. That's basically what they told everybody. He's not here. We need to go to the investigative side. There's a reason for that, right? And I know everybody looks at everything different, but there's a reason they said that. There's reason behind everything they did. Now, they backtracked some of those things, but I think that came later with the pressure and the money getting thrown into the table. But in the beginning, that's why I always say go back to the beginning of every case. The answers lie within the beginning, right? That's usually what it does because their brains aren't programmed enough to lie yet. We know she acted really quickly. Well, nobody's going to react in 10 minutes. Not for a 19-year-old. A tough bricklayer guy, right? No, he's not going to get lost. How's he going to get lost? He's got a phone. He's got Google Maps. He's got a bus stop right there nearby him. None of it made sense, right? He should have waited right there at the bus stop. They should have came and got him. That's his friend. You know, I think they weren't prepared for all those little things that came out later, but it was too late because they had already planned everything out to do the cover up. And I don't think they had a lot of time to do it. I think it was more or less than probably 10 hours. And so that's why there were so many holes in it. And I recommend everyone go back to Peter Hyatt and watch it one more time and really pay attention to what he says about the language. and about Lucy and about what the mother was saying and about all these things, right? There's meaning to everything within that language. We know something went bad early, and we know the mother knew something went bad early. We know Lucy said something went bad early because she clearly said it out of her own mouth. Something's not right. So be to say she did go up there to look for Jay. Something bad happened. I think it was more of a turf war than it was anything else. And she didn't know how to react to it. But she never... Her best bet would have been to just say, hey, he's missing, not go into so many other details, right? And not write a whole book on a GoFundMe that can come back and bite her, right? Those are the things that should have not been done. But she'd already done it, so you can't go back on it, right? She raised $30,000 for a reason. Nobody sets a GoFundMe at 30 grand. Give me a break, right? Like, there was reasoning behind everything that happened. I'm not going to say it was necessarily Jay that lost anything. I'm thinking it was more or less maybe Brad or someone else that lost something. We know that Brandon does a bunch of shady deals. Maybe he had took something that didn't belong to him, which we know they had done before. So I think Jay just got stuck in the middle of something because of his friends. That's what I think it came down to, and that's why his friends were trying to throw shade at the other people. So when you look at what Lucy said in the beginning, you have to look at it, right? As it makes sense, right? Something bad happened early, and they knew it. Even the ex-girlfriend of Jay said somebody got that boy, right? The mama knew somebody had him. Even the dad now is finally coming out and starting to throw shade at everything. You know, that dad was boots on the ground. He should know better than anyone else. His son was not there. And I think he's made that clear before. Zach, all of them, they searched that area so thoroughly. And you have to trust in dogs to pick up scents because that's what dogs do. Their senses are way better than ours. And so then we have to look at, okay, how did he get there? What caused him to get there? I think the money exchanged hands somehow, some way through Lucy. I don't think it was ever done through his mother. I think it was done through Lucy, and all she wanted was her boy back. And she made that clear from the get-go, just to be able to take him home. I think she knew when she got there something was bad wrong. But she wasn't going to leave until she could take him home. And I think one day that'll all come out. I really do. But I think what scared her was making him give his statement in the Tom Hilton thing and how he got thrown under the bus for that. I think she learned not to do anything too early, right? Let's let this thing go out, see if somebody else can grab the truth and put it out so she doesn't have to. Because eventually, she's going to talk. And I think eventually Warren is going to start spitting out more. He knows more, but I get it. It's his son. He doesn't have to tell us anything. He doesn't have to explain anything to us, right? He doesn't have to. But he's slowly starting to. And I think as time passes, more will come out. And I'm still waiting for his brother to talk. And a half-brother, whatever, Zach. And so there's going to be a lot more that's going to come out. So that's why I'm kind of holding back just a little bit, more or less to get the okay, you know, from team and from everybody else that we're working with to make sure that we can drop this thing. Because once we drop it, there's no taking it back. And I'm sure it's going to stir up a whole bunch of hornets and bees and wasps and everything else. But that's okay. Because the truth hurts, right? That's what I always say. That's what I was always told. The truth hurts. And so, like I said, we're not here to do Netflix or write any documentaries or do anything like that. That's not why we got on this case, right? We're far from that. And we would never hide any answers from anyone. People just don't like the truth sometimes. Sorry, but they don't. Especially not ones that have been in jail for 9 years before or other things of this nature. They don't want to go back. But, you know, the more they talk, the more we get. And sometimes people just don't realize that. But I love it because the more they talk, the more we get. And the more we get to go behind closed doors and utilize profilers and things through emails that we could say, hey, will you check this part out for me? Tell me what you think of this, right? And then get their opinion. And then match it to what we think, or is it something we thought? Like, and when I first got on this case, I thought it was something totally different than what it came out to be, in my opinion, right? And our findings. But, you know, the thing is I wanted to drop it on the 2nd, but I was asked nicely to please give it a couple of more weeks. So I'm going to. And I feel like when it comes out, hopefully it'll generate some answers to the ones that really care, the ones that are their heart is in it, right? Because there's other ones that just want to be this, that, the other, right? And then there's ones that really care. We know who cares. We know we got a few team members over there in the island of Tenerife. We got a few in the UK. We have made some acquaintances everywhere. And that's what it takes. Team effort, teamwork, to get to the bottom of it sometimes. So anyway, guys, justice for Jay Slater, I feel, is coming. I feel that everything's being reviewed. I feel that there's certain people that were involved in this case from the get-go that may have some kind of jurisdiction or think they have pull. But, when you come out and you don't do the correct thing, sometimes you don't get any information. And so that's why we've always tried to just stay straight out, put out what we can, not put out more than we can, and do it the correct way. And so with that said, there's good things to come, right? And I think once everything starts coming out, it's going to be a whole lot better. So anyway, guys, remember, allegedly, these are my opinions, my theories, my thoughts, my speculation, my free speech of what I think went down. And trigger warnings times 100 million. Y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. And so we do our research together. We're a big-hearted little family, minus the trolls. But y'all know where I'm getting at. Anyway, I knew I was going to do 20 minutes, break it down, let y'all know it's going to be a little bit longer. Not much, probably within 2 weeks. Maybe sooner. I don't know yet. It's not. And I'll let y'all know before I'm going to drop it, so y'all will be prepared. And then we'll probably, after that drops and after everything goes through, we might do a little live and to discuss it. So anyway, guys, this will pop up on members only first, and then it'll move over. So y'all guys be good, be safe, and we'll go from there. And y'all, we love y'all guys. We appreciate y'all. From across the river, across the pond, however y'all say it. We'll talk later, guys. Be good, be safe. All right. Bye.